Here they come, here they come, here they come. That was a good bite, dude. That was sick. Oh, they're coming, come. Missed it. Big one. No, not a big one, but a decent one. All right, we're out here targeting these nice spotted bass out here on this Clearwater reservoir. We got a bite window that just kind of opened up. You know, the wind's blowing a little bit, partly cloudy skies. Fish are really starting to get active. I threw the 3DB pencil, the 100 series at them. There's about 4 that came out and they were fighting over it. This one's in the gizzard shad color. But man, that's just such a fun bite, catching these spotted bass on top water. Highland Reservoir is a reservoir that has deep water for the most part. This body of water that we're on today has very, very deep water. You know, 200, 300, 400 foot of water is not uncommon on this lake. And then also most of the Highland reservoirs are really clear. You know, they have real clear water. Basically, a lot of these lakes, the runoff starts in the mountains. And so all the streams and like the little rivers and stuff start in the mountains and flow into these lakes. And so that's kind of what makes the water so clear and pristine as it comes from the mountains. So where I like to throw these topwater baits on these spotted bass fisheries like I'm fishing today, my favorite place to throw these topwater baits is over submerged brush piles out here on shoals and, you know, some long tapering points. And the best brush piles for topwater fishing are, you know, brush piles in 15 to 10 foot of water. And so, you know, I feel like the farthest that most of these spotted bass will come for a topwater bait will be about, you know, 10 to 12 feet. If they're, you know, sitting deeper than that, it's really hard to draw them up, you know, all the way up to a topwater bait. So that's kind of why I'm looking for those brush piles in that 10 to 15 foot of water. A lot of times the spotted bass will be suspended above the brush pile. And so what I'm actually doing today is I'm using my forward-facing sonar and I'm kind of scanning around out here on these shoals, and I'll find brush piles, and some of them will be loaded. You know, there'll be tons of spotted bass on some of these brush piles, and then some of them, you know, there's not so many. So you just kind of got to stay moving, you know, look at your sonar, and, you know, really try to figure out, you know, the specific brush piles that these fish like to hold on. So that's my favorite place to throw these topwater baits is over those brush piles. But I also really like throwing these topwater baits on rocky points. You know, some of these rocky points on this lake are long tapering points, but then some of them are also kind of a steep rocky point. And, you know, both of them are really good places, especially if the wind is blowing in on those rocky banks. You know, I feel like a lot of times the wind blows bait fish into the rocky banks, and that's where those spotted bass will gang up, is those rocky points, you know, where the bait fish is blown into. And then I also like fishing docks, you know, with these walking baits. On this lake, a lot of these docks are anywhere, they'll be sitting in 10, maybe 20 foot of water is under the dock. And you know, that's a very key place to throw these topwater baits, because what those spotted bass will do is they actually like to suspend under those docks. You know, kind of, let's just say the water's 20 foot deep, they'll suspend 5 foot under the dock, and you can throw these walking baits, and then also that popper as well, you know, out in front of the dock, and then you can also throw it in the slips and then down the sides, and, you know, bring those fish out from under the dock to eat these topwater baits. So those are kind of the 3 places I look for when I'm on a body of water like this. And you know, like I said, it's a Clearwater, Highland Reservoir. So those are my 3 places I like to fish. I'm just making really long casts with this popper. I got the wind to my back, and I'm able to make really long casts. and I'm throwing it out over these brush piles, and I can see the spotted bass suspended around the brush piles. And basically when I get this bait, there's some falling right now, I just twitch it really fast, trying to get them to follow it. And so basically I'll get them to start following it, and then I'll even twitch it faster and faster, and you kind of play cat and mouse with them a little bit, and that seems to be able to trigger the bites. If you work it too slow, then they get too good of a look at it and they won't commit. You can work it slow at first to try to get their attention, but once they start following it, you better speed it up. That's kind of been the ticket this morning. Here they come, dude. Bunches of them. Bunches. Big and dude. What a hit. Golly. Freight trained it. What a tank spot. Look at that. Holy cow. Look how fat.
Yeah, that's a hammer.
Dude. Look at that. Sheesh. Just caught this one on the 3DB Pencil Popper 110. This is just a great topwater bait. Anytime the wind's blowing, as you can see behind me here, we got a nice little chop coming in. When I have wind like that, that's when I go with the Pencil Popper over just the traditional 3DB pencil. But the cool thing about this Pencil Popper is it has a concave lip, and so it really splashes a lot of water. When you're walking that bait from side to side, it throws water to the left and to the right. And then also we have this pearl belly on this bait. It's got a nice color, and then there's also a prism in the middle of this bait. So between the prism flashing and you got that pearl on the belly, it's just a great color. These spots can't resist. So as far as the tackle that I use for these three topwater baits, it's the same rod reel line for all three of them. And basically it's an iRod Genesis 3. It's a 7-foot medium heavy. This is just a great topwater rod. It's got a nice bend to it, but still has a pretty nice backbone, so you can still get the hook in them on a long cast. But the reason why I want a rod that's going to bend and load really nicely like this one is that I throw all these topwater baits on braid. I'm throwing 40-pound Yo-Zuri braid, and you're able to make really long casts with this braided line. And you're able to just impart a lot of action in these baits that you can't do with mono. And so that's kind of why I go with the braid. But you do have to have a more limber rod when you're throwing braid than if you were throwing straight mono. And then I will put a little fluorocarbon leader in front of the bait, about an 18-inch leader, and that I tie on there with an FG knot. And today I'm throwing a 15-pound super fluoro. Like I said, just a short leader, just to kind of get that braid away from the bait in case if these fish come up and look at this bait in this clear water. And then I pair that up with just a high speed. It's an 8-to-1 gear ratio bait cast reel, and that's my setup for all three of these baits. If you guys like throwing topwater like me, you definitely want to check out the 3DB series of topwaters from Yo-Zuri. You're gonna catch a lot of fish.
Be sure to like and subscribe, because we're going to be bringing content to you on a weekly basis for both fresh and saltwater to show you the quality of our products, how to use them, and how to make yourself a better fisherman by picking up Yo-Zuri line and lures. Go and pick them up, like and subscribe, fish the best, fish Yo-Zuri.